Welcome to Finding Holiness, where we delve into timeless Torah wisdom, revealing the sacred in everyday moments. Join us on a journey to elevate your spirituality and discover holiness in every aspect of life. I'm your host, Rabbi David Kadosh, and together, let's embark on a path of spiritual exploration. I hope you enjoy this next episode. All right, everybody. Continuing with the laws of Hachsharat Kelim. Again, we are focusing on the general rules, and then Bezat Hashem, we'll get to the actual practice in different scenarios. So we gave the introduction last time. This is what we're saying now. בנוסף לכך שאסור להשתמש בכלים שבישלו בהם טרף ולא עברו הכשרה כדין. In addition, that you are not allowed to, in addition to the fact that you're not allowed to use kelim that you used or were used for terefa and that were not kosher properly. אם בישלו בהם מאכל כשר, המאכל נאסר. If you use those dishes to cook your kosher food, the food becomes prohibited. משום, the reason is, שטעם התבשיל המתבשל בכלי נדבק ונבלע בדפנותיו. The reason is because the taste of the dish that was cooked in the kli gets stuck onto the walls of the kli and is also absorbed by the walls. ואם לאחר שבישלו בסיר מאכל טרף יבשלו בו מאכל כשר, and if after you cook or was cooked this non-kosher food in your pot, then you want a new kosher cooker, you want to cook kosher food, טעם הטרף יצא מהדפנות ויבלע במאכל הכשר. The taste of the flavor of the terefa will come out from the walls and will be absorbed into the kosher food. ומחשבים את הדפנות כאילו הן מלאות בטעם האיסור. And we calculate the walls as if they are completely filled with the טעם of the prohibited substance. וכיוון שכמעט תמיד אין בתכולת הסירים פי 60 כנגד עובי דפנותיהם, since normally, almost always, you will not have enough food in the pot to 60 times what is absorbed in the walls. בכל עת שבשלו מאכל בסיר שבלע טעם איסור, כל מה שהתבשל בסיר ייאסר. Therefore, every time that you cook something in that pot, then it will absorb the non-kosher taste, and therefore it would be asur. וכן הדין לגבי סיר שבישלו בו חלב ואחר כך בישלו בו בשר. The same thing applies when you with a pot that was cooked, a dairy pot, and then you cook meat afterwards. כיוון שאין בתבשיל הבשר פי 60 כנגד עופי הדפנות החלביות, since you don't have 60 times of meat more than the walls of the pot, tafshil abasar ne'esar. Therefore, the tafshil becomes prohibited. Umadua mechashvim et hadofan ki'ilu hi melea b'tam isur. He asks a question: Why do we calculate the whole walls of the pot like it's filled with the taste of prohibited foods? Mipnei shemedubar besafek she'en efsharut lepotro. Because we are talking here about a doubt that we have no availability, there's no possibility to solve this doubt. We don't know exactly how much ta'am is stuck and absorbed in the walls, and we don't know how much was released. There are some kelim that absorb more and some expel more. Clay and pottery and stoneware, those absorb a lot. Ukle etz pachot, wooden vessels less. Ukle matechet od pachot, and metal even less. Gam ben kle acheres yesh hevdelim, and even with regards to the clay and the stoneware, there's differences. Sheyeshnam aviririm shebliatam merubah. There's very, very porous ones that absorb a lot. V'yesh dechusim, more compressed ones, shebli atam pechuta, that have less absorption. Hadashim bolaim harbe, newer pots, they absorb more. And yeshanim bolaim me'at, and the older ones absorb less. Kemo ken yesh tafshilim sheta'amam merukaz v'chazak. Besides the pot, you have cooked dishes that have a very strong flavor. כך שגרם ממנו שקול כ10 גרם של תבשיל רגיל, עד שלעיתים הטעם יוצא מהכלים חזק כשיעור נופח הדפנות שלהם. You can have 10 grams of a substance, of a spice, it can really spread the taste. וכיוון שמדובר בספק תמידי, שאין דרך לקבוע את גבולותיו, since we're talking about a constant ספק, that we have no way of assessing and actually concretizing the amount that we're talking about, ומצב קבוע של ספק הוא מצב שמערער את גבולות האיסור, therefore נפסק להלכה, the halacha was פוסק, שכדי לצאת מתחום הספק, יש להחמיר עד הקצה האחרון. So therefore, in order to release ourselves from any ספק, we have to be מחמיר all the way to the end. ולהחשיב את כל דפנות הסיר, we have to assume all the walls of the pot, כאילו הן מלאות בטעם התבשיל הטרף, that they are filled with the taste of the טרפה. וכיוון שאין בתבשיל פי 60 כנגד נופח הדפנות, התבשיל נאסר. And if there's not enough food in the pot that adds up to 60 times the volume of the walls, the tafshil is ne'esar, therefore, and you can't have the food. לא זו בלבד, not only this, אלא שאם אחר כך יבשלו באותו סיר תבשיל נוסף, גם הוא יאסר. Even if afterwards you cook in the same pot an additional tafshil, that also is asur. כי יש ספק, because now we have additional ספק. אולי בבישול הראשון לא נפלא טעם האיסור. Maybe when you cook the first time, the taste of the prohibited taste didn't expel. ואילו בבישול השני נפלא טעם האיסור. And maybe it was only the second cooking that expelled the taste. וכיוון שאיננו יכולים להעריך כמה נפלט בפעם הראשונה וכמה פעם השנייה, since we don't know how much was expelled the first time and the second time, יש להחמיר על קצה האחרון, therefore we are totally fully מחמיר. ולחשב בכל פעם כאילו באותה הפעם נפלט כל הטעם הבלוע בדפנות. And we assume that every time you cooked, the taste was expelled from the pot into your food. כללי הביטחון שלמדנו נועדו למצב שאין לנו אפשרות לברר את טעמו של התבשיל. Generally, the rules that come into play here, where we have we can't really calculate, we don't know there's no possibility to figure out the tam of a tafshil. שכן ישראל אינו יכול לבדוק את טעמו של התבשיל. Truth is, you can't have a Jew try to figure out whether or not there's a taste of non-kosher in the tafshil. שמא יתפרש שיש בו טעם איסור, ונמצא שאכל מאכל אסור. The guy's going to end up eating טרפה. אבל אם יש שם נוכרי אמין, if there is a reliable non-Jew, שטעם את התבשיל ואמר שאין מרגישים בו טעם האיסור, and he tastes it, and he says, there's no taste of isur over here, התבשיל כשר. Technically, the tafshil is kosher, because he's tasting it, and he's saying, I don't taste any pig. There's no pork, there's no bacon here, kosher. Omnam, kevan sha'ta'amim chamakmakim, since the tastes are very elusive, b'derech klal noagim shelo lismoch ala nochri. We don't have the custom to rely on the non-Jew, ela kovim et adin al pi klalei habitachon shelamadu, but rather we rely on this 60 times rule. That's the 60. If there's 60 times more of the kosher versus the non-kosher, then that is generally what we would assume that it is kosher. Keli shebishlu bo taref. A vessel that terefa was cooked in, this is a very important rule now. Asur beshimush le'olam. You cannot use it ever. Okay, so if I have a pan here or a pot that in it was cooked, pig, okay, cannot use it forever. Verak le'achar shi'avor hachshara mutar lishamesh bo. Only if it was kosher properly, like we spoke about in the last section, then you could use it. Omnam. What we just learned, what I just said, that the taste of the terefa that is absorbed in the walls is able to oser, to prohibit any new cooked foods in that kli. Hu bitnai shakli ben yomo. This is on condition that the kli that the pig was cooked in is a ben yomo. Kelomar, betoch 24 sha'ot. But within 24 hours, that the terefa was cooked in that pot. Mishum she'ad az, until 24 hours, ta'amei taref shenivle'u, the taste of the terefa that were absorbed in the pot, v'nidbeku bakli, and stuck onto the kli, od yecholim latet ta'am tov betavshil losro. it can still give a good taste to the food you're cooking, and osir it, and prohibit it. But after 24 hours pass, any taste that was, even if it's asur taste, it was absorbed. The pig that was cooked in that pot, the pig taste in that pot, after 24 hours becomes pagum. It becomes spoiled. There, and it does not have the power to make another food that is cooked in there prohibited. And when we are in doubt on whether or not this pot, I see a pot here, I know it's not kosher, or whatever, I'm not sure if this pot is within 24 hours that has been used last or not, we consider it that it did pass the 24-hour threshold, like the rule says, stam kelim enam b'nei yomam. The stam klim, where we don't know its status, it is not within 24 hours. We consider that as after 24 hours. Ve'im yad'u she'asir taref, but if you know that this kli is terefa, ve'lamrot zot bishlubo bezadon, but I cook food in that terefa bezadon, lamrot she'avra alav yemama ve'atam ha'yotzeh mimenu pagum, even if you know that this hasn't been used in 3 weeks, okay? So I know that any taste in there is pagum. Still, kansu chachamim ve'asru et ha'ma'achal ala mevashel ve'akol mi shebishel avuram. The chachamim made a knas that the food that was cooked in there is not allowed to be eaten by the person who cooked it and who it was cooked for. Ve'rak la'acherim she'atavshil lo bo shel avuram mutar le'ochlo, and only for other people stam that it would be mutar to eat. Okay, so therefore, with regards to kosher food cooked in a non-kosher pot, you have 2 questions to consider. Harishona, was the kli within 24 hours or not? If it was within 24 hours, then your kosher meat is asur to everybody. No questions. If the tafshil was not ben yomo, magia she'ela shniya, the second question arises. Hayim abishul na'aseh b'mezid, was it done on purpose? Hatafshil asur al kol ele shavuram hitpashel umutar leharim. Okay, then you're not allowed to eat it because you put it there on purpose, but other people can. Ve'im bishkaga hatafshil mutar lakol. And if it is b'shogeg, then it is kosher to everyone. The reason why the Chachamim made the knas is very simple, because if you don't make the knas, then people are going to start using non-kosher utensils even within 24 hours. So Chachamim had to make this rule. So that's usually the first question, most common question I get asked with regards to, Rabbi, please, I accidentally cooked mac and cheese into this pot that was meat. Okay, what do I do? Do I gotta throw it, right? So without getting into whether or not you gotta kosher the pot, I tell them, well, when was the last time you used the pot? That's the first thing I ask them. Oh, no, I haven't used it since last Shabbat or whatever, a week and a half ago. Okay, your mac and cheese is kosher. Why? Because she told me it was accidental. So it's accidental, then we're not worried that she's gonna go and do it on purpose. So we can allow it, being that there's no isur there, because even though there was meat cooked into that pot prior, but it's pagum, so it's accidental, and even she can have it, and for other people. If it was done on purpose, I said, no, sorry, go give it to your neighbor, let them enjoy it, okay? But you can't have it because you thought you knew the halacha, okay? But it's not right. In terms of the actual status of the kli, then we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll continue these ideas tomorrow.